Hi, Andrew here, and I thought I'd expand a little bit more on why I've been exercising every day. In the last video on the subject, I was talking about my resting heart rate and how it had, through 2 years of, no, well, 2 years, we'll call it 2 years, of insufficient physical activity, my resting heart rate, which is around 60, had tracked up into the high 60s, low 70s. It had gone up, for the sake of argument, 10 beats per minute. And that this was a warning flag to me that something was not going right. Now, my heart was working 20% too hard, 15 to 20% too much. And I didn't like that. And I wanted to undo that. So that was one of the motivations for getting myself back into shape. Another one, simple, pride. I have always been the fittest guy. I've not always been the fastest guy. I've not always been the best athlete on the pitch or on the court or on the ice or in the pool. But I've always been the fittest and the most determined. I'm not the most flexible in yoga. I can't do the poses the deepest. Doesn't matter. The one thing that you can count on is I will give you everything, and I'll be able to go longer and harder. I'll be able to go harder longer because I'm in great shape. When I was 8 years old, I started playing house league hockey. And I stunk. I was a very small kid, and I'd never had skating lessons. And so I was just stumbling around the ice doing whatever. And I wasn't even a house league hero. I didn't score a goal in 4 years of house league hockey. And a friend of mine who was a center and much bigger than I was and so on, he said, "How many goals you got this year?" I says, "None." He says, "You a defenseman?" He couldn't imagine a forward not having racked up a bunch of goals. I've always been defensively minded. I was always the first back checker. I've always taken great pride in the other guys not being able to score when I was on the ice. But I never scored in those years. Now, when I was a kid, and I'm in my mid-50s, so, 40 years ago, or I can't do math apparently, 45 to 50 years ago when I was playing house league, body checking was introduced at the 10 or 11-year-old level. And so I'm going into practices and we're doing contact drills. You got to skate down the boards and everybody body checks you so you can learn to take the hit. I got knocked out in one of my last games of house league hockey because at 12 years old, I didn't hit my growth spurt till grade 11 or 12. I was like 5'2" going when I was 16 or 17 years old. When I was in my last year of house league, as an 11 or 12-year-old, I was tiny. I was this itty bitty little kid just being shoved around, and you know what? It wasn't any fun. What does this all have to do with being in shape? Well, fast forward many years. Was I 29 when I started working for ADI? It doesn't matter. I started playing hockey again in 1997. So yeah, I'd have been 29. So you had to fast forward those 17 years, and I hadn't played hockey. But one of the guys I worked with had a couple of ice times, and he was always looking for new hockey players. No, I did not mispronounce that. He was always looking for new hockey players, and he asked if anybody wanted to, and I thought, I'll give it a shot. I'll start playing again. And one of the things I did was I bought myself a pair of skates, and I started going to public skates every Sunday to remember how to skate, because I hadn't skated in I don't think I'd skated in 17 years, much less played hockey. And boy, howdy did I suck. As bad as I was as a House League Zero, I was even worse at Friday night pickup. Because in addition to I haven't played hockey in 17 years, in addition to I stunk when I did, I hadn't skated in 17 years, and I sucked. You still haven't explained what this has to do with fitness, Andrew. Well, I told you I was skating every Sunday, or, well, I didn't say what day, but I was skating at the public skates regularly, just doing loops, just remembering how to skate. Once I was able to do that, fitness took over. In September, when you start playing shinny, guys haven't played hockey for 4 months. They're not in game shape. Well, guess what? Andrew, who is always doing something, always exercising, always hard, is in great shape. So what I discovered was in September, October, even into November, the first 15 minutes of the game, yeah, how bad I was, how bad I stunk, was pretty obvious. But in the last 15 minutes of the game, when everybody else is completely gassed, I wasn't, because I was in good shape. I scored a lot of goals in those last 15 minutes of the games when everybody else was on the bench trying not to puke, and I won't say I was as fresh as a daisy, but I was still in good shape. I want that back. Let's go right back to the subject. What I started talking about. Why am I exercising to be in shape? Because I want that back. I want to be able, when pickup hockey starts again, or maybe I'll join the Kitchener Old Timers, I want to be able to go on the ice and be able to keep up to the game, to be the guy who in the last shifts of the game is the freshest guy on the ice. Maybe not the fastest guy at the beginning, certainly not the most talented, don't have the best hands, but I'm determined as all hell and I'm in great shape. Well, that's what I expect to be. I've gone from being in terrible shape to being in mediocre shape to now I'm into good shape. And I'll continue to push to be in great shape because it's important to me to be in good shape. Because, as I say, the most talented, being in shape means you can go all the time, start to finish. And being in good shape can cover certain deficiencies of your game. Thanks very much for watching. That was mine. Now it's yours. And in the meantime, take care, stay in shape, and you'll see me soon.